content. We'll talk about some best practices, some common mistakes that are made with balayage, and just help you really streamline your balayage in a way that will make perfect sense. So I have my lovely client here, and we are going to section her off 100% right at the get. And I really want to think about how bold I want this front piece and how much hair I want to leave out of my zigzag in that front area. There's essentially going to be 3 major areas within this look, and it's going to be the outline, which is going to be the whole hairline and the entire outline of the underneath. So that's kind of like your first halo section around the hairline. Now, we're going to think of this as in like 3 essential areas of the head that are very, very important to us. Okay, so now we are going to combine our front hairline with our back hairline before we drop down the interior. So the further back you elevate, the heavier the painting will be through the saturation of the hair. The further forward you over direct, you're actually painting lighter, a more lightweight amount of saturation on this front panel. And we're gonna be at about 90, and then we're gonna lay it back. So we'll have about 3 points up top, in the center, and then down below is where I'm going to start painting, and then I'm gonna blend them all together. So once I have it in half, I can very clearly see that there's like 2 nice big panels here and a couple nice big panels right through here. So I'll separate out the back from the front so that I can work just really quickly through each one, all the way through the sides. And the reason being is because I want to leave this pocket of depth right here for this entire front hairline to have a little bit of a backdrop. And it's easier if you're painting a diagonal back to stand in a position that automatically makes your hand and your brush like formate, like in formation, get into formation of a diagonal back. And I'm kind of elevating a little bit slightly there so that I don't paint anything I don't want to, just to make sure I can really get into that peak right there. But to still give them that kind of like balayage melted, highlighted look and effect is by taking these larger sections, right? Because larger sections creates more depth in between each section. And like I said, every client's different, and every client's wants and needs and desires are gonna be a little different. So, so maybe you're gonna take more zigzag sections and subsections all the way up through the head if they're wanting more of that like heavy, heavy blonded look versus just ribbons of balayage color. But we are gonna do that in the top. So we're actually gonna saturate the ends all through the top and all through the underneath. I use my hands for like, I feel like for me, that's why I like to use my hands, is because I can feel on both sides, the front and back, the amount of pressure that I'm putting. And I can even feel as I'm blending through here. Sometimes I'll switch between my hand and my brush. So loading up my brush, using my bigger brush, loading up that mid shaft, nice and heavy, and then blending. And getting lots of tension. We are going to do a diagonal back here on this back side, but this is actually going to be kind of our area of depth here as well. So we're gonna get a nice, big, bold, beautiful hairline there, but then we're gonna have this nice pocket of depth right behind. So anytime I'm painting, I'm maintaining that tension. And if I need to go back to grab something, I can always like do what I need to do, and boom, right back to tension again. And to make sure that that heaviness of product here is really seamlessly blended up to that root area. Again, deep, beautiful zigzag partings that jumped even into almost the top of her head, creating big, beautiful ribbons of color, but painting them on the back side so that on the front side you saw low light. So first you saw highlight, then you saw low light on the front side, still ribbons of color all in diagonal backs. So you can really see those highs and lows, those ribbons of color coming through the top. How gorgeous is that? And then all of her ends are nice and glowing blonde.